Red Bull finds itself amidst a bit of political turbulence these days, with Christian Horner and Helmut Marko at the centre of a driver-related decision. Word on the paddock is that Horner wants the team's loudmouthed advisor out as soon as possible. What is going on in the Red Bull garage? Let's have a look at the situation in today's video. According to Globo's report, there have been some internal challenges within Red Bull, especially following the unfortunate passing of co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz. This turbulence has been exacerbated by increased interference from the Thai shareholders since Mark Mateschitz assumed control of the company. Although the F1 team has been basking in the glory of winning both the Constructors' and Drivers' Championships this season, it appears that there may be some underlying issues to address. Reports indicate that there is now a sense of tension between the team principal, Horner, and Marko, who once served as Dietrich Mateschitz's right-hand man. The Brazilian newspaper shared that. Horner has been trying to get rid of Marko for some time to control the group's operation in Formula One as a whole. Horner is reportedly aiming to part ways with Yuki Tsunoda, who currently drives for AlphaTauri. Such a decision would entail Honda cutting a check for $10 million. Something Marko has been trying to prevent to avoid future friction with the engine supplier. The report suggests that Marko is facing a substantial risk of losing his position, with a crucial meeting set to take place in the upcoming week to make this determination. In addition to Horner's desire to see him depart, Oliver Mintzlaff, who came aboard Red Bull following Mateschitz's passing, is also reportedly in favour of a change in Marko's role. Despite standing up for him, Christian Horner has urged Sergio Perez to reproduce the outstanding form he exhibited in the early part of the 2023 season. This comes after a disappointing performance in Qatar, where Perez only managed to secure a single point throughout both the sprint and Sunday's race, which Horner referred to as a shocker. It was a challenging three-day stretch for Perez, as he was eliminated in Q2 during qualifying, got involved in a collision with Esteban Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg during the sprint race, resulting in a crash, and ultimately ended up in 10th place in the main race. On top of that, he had to contend with 15 seconds worth of penalties for repeatedly exceeding track limits. At the moment, the Red Bull driver finds himself embroiled in a closely contested battle with Lewis Hamilton for the second position in the Drivers' Championship. With Hamilton finishing 5th in the sprint and subsequently crashing out in the main race, it was evident that a prime opportunity to accumulate points had slipped away. Currently, Perez maintains a 30-point lead over the British driver in the championship standings. In an interview with Sky Sports after the Qatar Grand Prix, the Red Bull team principal shared his thoughts on Perez's performance over the weekend. He said, "Checo's had a bit of a shocker of a race. He's had a horrible weekend, the incident yesterday, and then unfortunately the 3 penalties that he got in the race. Without those penalties, you add 15 seconds to his times. Suddenly he's a lot further up the point scoring on a day that Lewis Hamilton didn't score. So it was a missed opportunity to really try and cement that second place. But we just need to get that form that he showed at the beginning of the season back, and we know he's got it within him." Perez began the year on a high note, securing 4 podium finishes, including 2 race wins in the first 5 races. However, there has been a significant shift in his performance, with only 4 podiums in the last 12 races. When questioned about the reasons for this shift, or if it was due to the car being less comfortable to drive, Horner provided his response, saying that nothing's really fundamentally changed that much. I think you can see he's got into a little bit of a spiral and he just needs to put the brakes on that. Reset, use this period, the 2 weeks now, to come back in Austin, another sprint weekend, and really attack it and do the best that he can and extract the most out of himself like he was at the beginning of the year. Horner also expressed his concerns about Perez's form as they look ahead to the 2024 season. Red Bull's seasoned leader emphasized that the driver lineups of their competitions played a pivotal role in motivating Perez to up his performance. He said, "You can see the other teams are working as a pair, and sometimes that becomes a bit confrontational, as we saw today in the race. But Mercedes, it's very tight between their pair. Ferrari, it's very tight between their pair. Oscar Piastri, what a great job he's doing as a rookie. Very tight with Lando Norris. We really need Checo to get into that window because, not this year so much, but certainly next year, we need him to be firing on all cylinders." When asked about the possibility of someone like Norris being a potential candidate for Red Bull to consider as a replacement for Perez in the future, Horner gave in, saying, "Well, Lando is obviously under a contract, and I mean, Oscar, you'd be saying as well, he's under a contract as well. All these drivers are under contract, and we've got AlphaTauri as well. But we have a contract with Sergio, so we're determined. We've not seen the best of Sergio, and we need to unpick what it is that's causing this slump in form for him. We're going to support him as much as we can to achieve that." According to Nico Rosberg, the 2016 F1 World Champion, he views Alex Albon as an ideal choice and a dream candidate to step in for Sergio Perez at Red Bull in the upcoming season. Rosberg is of the opinion that Albon, who has successfully rejuvenated his career at Williams following a challenging 18-month period as Verstappen's teammate in 2019 and 2020, stands out as the top candidate to take over from Perez in 2024. However, he acknowledges that Albon's existing contract would pose a significant obstacle to a potential return to Red Bull. He shared these thoughts during an interview with Sky F1, saying, "Logan Sargent, Albon's Williams teammate, is another one of those drivers who's on shaky ground and really needs to prove himself, but he's been making too many mistakes, so honestly, I think it's going to be difficult for him to retain that seat for next year, especially because Albon is doing such a phenomenal job." Albon would also be a dream candidate actually for the Red Bull mother team for next year to replace Sergio Perez, but unfortunately, as Helmut Marko was saying, Albon is locked in with a long-term contract there at Williams. Going on with the replacement driver talk, Dr. Helmut Marko has identified a current driver whom he believes could potentially challenge Max Verstappen within the team. However, he reiterated that Sergio Perez's contract would continue to be respected. Verstappen has had a highly successful season and clinched his third Formula One World Championship in the recent race in Qatar. The Dutch driver has clearly outperformed his teammate Sergio Perez, who is currently facing a challenging period while driving the RB19. Sergio Perez's recent struggles on the track have sparked rumours that he might be replaced at Red Bull, even though he has a contract in place until the end of the following year. Marko emphasised that Red Bull is committed to at least fulfilling the terms of the contract, while Perez remains with the Milton Keynes-based team. He told Sport 1 that, "I may be repeating myself, but Perez has a contract that we want to respect. We're doing everything to get him back on track. We lack the alternatives. Otherwise, he might have a problem." There have been connections made between Daniel Ricciardo and a potential Red Bull seat to take over for Perez. This comes as the Australian driver has openly expressed his desire for the opportunity as part of his F1 comeback. Verstappen clearly outperformed his previous teammates at Red Bull, including Pierre Gasly and Alexander Albon. In 2021, he engaged in a fierce battle with Lewis Hamilton for the World Championship and ultimately secured the title in a contentious Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But Marko doesn't believe that even Hamilton could match Verstappen's pace at Red Bull. Instead, he has his sights set on another experienced Formula One driver. "At the moment, I only see one who could come close to keeping up with Max, Fernando Alonso." Helmut Marko has been making bold statements lately, which is probably part of the reason why rumours of him heading out Red Bull's door have been circulating. But how about you? Do you agree with any of his statements? Tell us which ones and why in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.